Greetings and welcome to the 10th episode of Season 1 of our live series Ichi-go Ichi-e, show where we discuss and present insights about growth, self-improvement and skill development and awareness. The show is brought to you by Team Bertho and Yes Girls Movement Bangladesh Girls Guide. I'm your host, Fahmina Shemonti. As I always say to our regular viewers, it's always good to have your presence on our show. And to the ones who are catching our show today for the very first time, we hope you will find something from us worth sticking around in our following ones. Before we jump into our regular setting of the show, a big note of awareness needs to be raised. Gender prejudice has since forever been fueling acts of violence against women and girls in both rich and poor countries alike. One in every three women have been abused in their lifetime. A new report from UN Women, based on data from 13 countries since the pandemic, shows that 2 in 3 women reported that they or a woman they know experienced some form of violence and are more likely to face food insecurity. Only 1 in 10 women said that victims would go to the police for help. Gender-based violence can and must be prevented at all costs. Stopping this violence starts with believing survivors, adopting comprehensive and inclusive approaches that tackle the root causes, transform harmful social norms, and empower women and girls. With survivor centered essential services across policing, justice, health, and social sectors, and sufficient financing for the women's rights agenda, we can end gender based violence. The United Nations is marking the 16th days of activism against gender based violence from 25th November, which is commemorated as the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women annually, to 10th December 2021, under the global theme set by the UN Secretary General's UNITE campaign, Orange the World, End Violence Against Women Now. So, here in Team Bertho, we express our solidarity with the survivors and activists, and we celebrate the 16th day of activism as well. So, now let's jump into our regular propriety. The topic of today's discussion is learning languages from zero. Our guest for the show is Pitchaporn Chairungruanglit. I'm sorry, I don't want to mess this name up. I'm gonna try again. Our guest for the show is Pitchaporn Chairungruanglit from Thailand, who'd like to be addressed as Beer by us. So without further ado, let's invite Beer to the show. Hello, Beer.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm sorry for messing up the name at the first try. But I hope I didn't mess up it in the second try. Did I?
Yeah, correct. Yeah. You say
Okay.
it's correctly. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much. So, Beer, the topic you chose today for the session is actually very interesting. And we speak in Asia. We all speak in our native languages, but then we have to adapt to English for our international communication and studies as well. So, we are by nature all bilingual. But then, if we want to learn a language or more, it can be quite hard because learning English is quite hard as well, and we start learning English from we are very like we when we were toddlers we start learning English. So this
Yes,
topic is
yes.
actually very interesting. So, but before that, I wanted to I hope that if you will, could you tell us a little bit about yourself to the viewers? I believe they would love to know about if what you have to share.
Okay, yes, sure. Okay, hello everyone. So my name is Pitchaporn, but you can call me Beer, like a alcoholic drink. Yeah, because my father he loved drinking beer, so my name is Beer. Yeah. So
That's a fun story.
yeah, I currently work as an analyst at one of the state enterprise company in Thailand, like handling some business sales and purchase contract. And I graduated my bachelor degrees in Thailand and my master degree in the UK in business administration major. Also, talking about learning language. I'm quite interested about learning language since I was young. So besides my full-time job, I would tend to find some part-time jobs that related with languages, either English or Chinese. So I used to be an English Thai translator for a TV series, and today I'm also an English and Chinese part-time teacher. So normally
Wow.
I would teach on the weekends, and most of my students are elementary school to high schools, and some of them also like a working people. Yeah. And so this is a very short introduction of mine. So nice to meet you. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And the fact that you said, I know there are a lot of people in our viewers list who love Asian drama. Most of them love K-pop, Korean drama. But the fact that you are actually a translator in one of the Thai shows is actually very interesting. And I think this is something that would intrigue our viewers very much. So thank you for giving us your very brief and very intriguing bio. So now I'm going to handle all the reign of the show to your hands so you can conduct the way you please.
Okay, sure. Thank you. So
Okay.
this is my like first time doing this live session, so I'm quite a little bit nervous. So before I start, I just would like to say that I'm not a polyglot. I'm just a person who loves like learning languages. So if ask me when I start like love studying languages, actually I don't even know like when exactly. So besides Thai, my native language, English is my second language because it's a compulsory subject in every Thai school. So we have been spending half of our life studying English. So imagine like when you see something like every day and stay with it like for a long time, it's gradually immersed into you. And some people may be bored with it, but some may be getting more interested with it. So I'm in the second group. I enjoy studying English very much since I was young. And if ask me like why, I just feel that knowing more languages besides your native language is quite cool. So, and I also think that speaking another languages can help broaden my world and perspective toward other cultures. And I can understand what others talking about, and they can also understand what I talking about, which is not my own language. For example, like I can guide the foreigners who was asking me the direction or needing some help when they are traveling in Thailand, and I can understand them and help them like smoothly. So this situation maybe look simple, but yeah, I feel good anyway because like at least my language skill is somehow beneficial to others. So today, I just would like to share you about like how to learn a new language from zero, which may be beneficial to someone who plan to study a new language or who are struggling with studying it. So, but today I will focus more on studying on the third language in this session. Yeah. So first, like imagine, so learning language is like sailing a boat to see the fish in the sea. So before sailing, what is the first thing to have? Of course, it's the boat, right? So if there's no boat, how come you go into the sea? So I don't think like you will like going to swim into the ocean like by your own for long miles, right? So therefore, same as learning languages, first you might have to like you might have select one language in your mind that you would like to learn or know more about it. Also, you can answer yourself that why you choose to study this language. Try to set your goal and objective for studying first. So for me, besides English, I chose to study Chinese as my third language because first, actually my family background is Chinese, but my grandparents, they moved to Thailand first. So I'm now Thai, right? Okay. And additionally, I saw my dad, he can speak like Chinese fluently since I was young. So I was so impressed. And I feel that, oh, and besides, and every time I heard him like speaking Chinese, I feel like, wow, he is so cool. And since then, I have a thought that one day I wish I could speak Chinese as fluently as my dad. So suppose that now your boat is ready for like taking off. So before taking off, the next thing to do is prepare the equipment, right? Such as diving suit, goggles, oxygen, or life jacket. So some may buy a new one or a new set, while some people may get it for free from somewhere else. So different people have different way to get what they need, but they all have the same objective is to see the fish. So same as learning languages, when you know what your target language is, next is investing. invest on what? Investing here means investing on your time, investing on your effort, and some of you maybe invest on your money. So you may have to find some good resources or materials to study, such as like online language course, like especially for our situation today, right? During COVID-19, online learning will be better, right? So, however, it depends because nowadays there are both free and paid learning materials, and it also has various options for you to select. So, for instance, some people may learn it for free from YouTube or download free language application on their phone to practice. But some also applied an online language course with tutor, either live session or video recording session as examples. But if someone don't mind, so you might go for like face-to-face study with the tutors, like either tutoring school or homeschool. So just try to choose the one that fit your learning style as well as your budget, and think that is the best way for you to study. So for me, as I started to study Chinese since I was 8, so at that time, there is no any online learning course or online resources as much as today. So I just went to a tutoring school and spent my half of a day to study Chinese in the class with my classmate like every Saturday. I have been spending around like 5 hours a week in the class, and until now it has been almost like 20 years here, and I'm still be there for like my every Saturday, yeah. And from this point, I just would like to say that it depends on your learning style because different people might have their own style of study. So just choose the one that you feel comfortable with, and you can give it more time because you're gonna live with it like for a long time from now on. Okay, so imagine now your boat is sailing into the sea. And of course, in the middle of the sea, there's a way the act of God happens, like that you can't control it, such as the wind, the storm, or the heavy rain. And some people may give up and then return back to the shore, thinking that, oh, it's never mind, it's just a fit. It's okay to not seeing it today. We will come again next time, but don't know when yet. While some think differently, some people might think that, oh, this is one in a lifetime. It's a rare fish. If we don't go now, we may not see it anymore. So they don't even know that their future, whether they're gonna die or survive, but they choose to take risks. What I want to say is like trying to think all of these things are obstacles that we need to get through it. So same as learning, many people stop learning and give up at this stage. When you start to study language for a while, you may feel like, oh, this is too difficult. I give up. I'm too lazy to study. I will restudy it again next time. But yeah, don't know when. Or someone may feel like, oh, this is not me. Why would I have to waste my time studying this? So I would like to tell you that the answer is yourself. So turn back to the step one. Imagine when you standing on the shore and looking out into the sea and thinking, why you sail the boat out? So same as language. Why you choose this language and why you are studying it? So if you still can't answer yourself why, so I suggest you to keep going. So difficulty is one of the problems that all people who study languages need to confront with it anyway. But how you gonna overcome it? That's more important. So not all fishermen always see the bright sky every time they go fishing into the sea, right? So once you decided to like go on, so you keep like sailing and sailing. And when you stay on the boat longer, you will be like familiar with it. You will know how to control the speed or how to handle it when there is a big wave coming. So all of these kind of things, of course, it must rely on practicing and familiarity. So I say that practice makes perfect. So the more you practice, the faster progress you are. So same as learning, as I mentioned at first, that different people have different style of learning. We don't all learn the new language in the same way. So some people may need to understand how the structures and grammatical work, but some people have to see them in the pictures or visual first, or some need to hear it many times to memorize them into their memories. So actually, you will need to know all these things anyway when you study, but understanding your learning style first can help you to save time and speed up your learning progress. So for me, if ask me, I prefer to memorize them in visual or picture first, since Chinese has many characters and different way of writing. As you can see, like each Chinese characters look like a drawing. So I usually like handwrite them on the paper, like each word 10 times and then pronounce it out loud every time I write it. I feel that this way it's quite effective for me as it makes me like memorize each word's meaning faster, then gradually understand grammar and then start to make like sentences. So besides, I also did some exercise including listening, reading, and writing. And another saving kit is dictionary. It is one of the treasures for studying languages. I usually look up new words in the dictionary and of course, yeah, at first you couldn't remember those words for sure. But if you look them up like for many times, you found it several times, you would be like, oh, this word again? We met before. And then you will gradually remember it in your memory. So learning language is like if you don't practice, some of the words you used to know, even the easy words will be gradually faded away. So you will be like face the situation like, oh, this word, I know, I've learned it. It's on the tip of my tongue. But yeah, eventually you still can't think of it like anyway. So what I suggest you is like to trying to make language become part of you, like maybe your routines, for example, talk to yourself, practice the word or sentences you have learned in front of the mirror, utilize some flashcard to review the vocabularies, or think of that language instead of your own language when making some sentences. Yeah. And then feed yourself with some interest and motivation toward your target language. For example, for me, I'm kind of the Chinese series fan, right? So I like many Chinese actors and singers. I usually watch Chinese series or TV shows to practice my Chinese. And honestly, I want to understand what my favorite actors are talking during their interviews. So this might be another motivation of mine to study. So just try to find the materials about the topic you are interested or related to your hobbies in your target language so that learning will become more pleasurable. Yeah. And now when you have been like sailing the boat further, now you're getting closer into the snorkeling spot, right? So be prepared and get ready. Someone may be afraid of water, but in order to see these rare fish, we need to get rid of our fear and dive into the sea. So same as learning languages, even you like practice a lot, but if you don't dare to speak it out or gain any real life experience with the language, it may not be that effective enough for study. So try to get out of your comfort zone and bring yourself into your target language world as much as you can. So like for me, like my story. So as you know that in Thailand, we mostly speak Thai as our native language, right? So there's quite less opportunity to practice any foreign languages. So therefore, to improve my Chinese, I decided to go to like China for 1 month when I was in junior high school. So it was my first time in China without my parents. Also, at that time, my Chinese skill was not that good, so I'm afraid of everything. I'm afraid of speaking. I'm afraid of other people that would not understand what I'm talking. I'm afraid of embarrassing. However, when you were there, you need to survive and also a few local people can speak English. So you need to talk with them in their own languages. Then I just started with the easy conversation first and like asking for the price, asking for the directions, and then try to order some food. Yeah. And once you ask them, and at that time, you understood what the others reply back to you. So it means that they understand what you said, right? So you will be like feel encouraged and accomplished. You would be like motivated to talk more. You will be proud of yourself, right? And since then, I usually practice with myself, like thinking of a sentence in Chinese or talking with my teachers during the class as much as I could. And another story is like during my master degree in the UK, I applied for one writing class and I met my classmate. She is a Chinese girl and she thought that I was Chinese too. So she graded me in like Chinese, and at that time, I think this is one opportunity for me to practice my Chinese. So I pretend to be Chinese and talk with her in Chinese. We chat and talk in Chinese for a while, like almost like one semester, and then I told her that, oh, so sorry, I'm not Chinese, and thanks her that help me improve my Chinese and as well as being my friends. But honestly, I think she already knew the truth because obviously my pronunciation didn't look like Chinese at all. But she didn't tell me and kept talking me in Chinese, so I was so impressed. And I also got like a few Chinese friends in my master degree class, right? So I tried to talk with them in Chinese, but they always reply me back in English. So this might be one of the practicing way of us. So they may want to practice their Chinese, but they may want to practice their English while I would like to practice my Chinese. So at the end, we can understand each other. So that's enough, right? And we still keep in touch until now. So that's good. So now, imagine like once you jump into the sea, once you dive into the sea, and finally you see the fish, you will realize that you have come so far. All the efforts and all the time you spend are worth it, right? You will feel satisfied that finally you can achieve your goal. And imagine when you step back on the boat again. I will ask you, like, what will you do next? So you will go back to the shore or keep going further? So let me tell you, like, when you were out there, there's still like long way to go. Even you accomplish your first goal, so trying to dream the bigger one to keep boosting your motivation. So at first you might want to see just a fish, right? But now you would like to see a whale, the bigger one, right? And otherwise, if you stay still on the boat or you go back to the shore, it means you return back to your first step. And if you stay still on the boat and floating on the sea, you're gonna drift in the sea with no clue and goal, and your motivation will be like dropping down. Same as learning, learning is endless. So trying to set a higher goal or objective to lighten up your motivation with learning. For example, for me, my New Year resolution is to pass the Chinese test. It's like same as IELTS or TOEFL, but it's called HSK. It's one of the Chinese proficiency tests. So I plan that 1 year I will pass like one level up if possible. However, you might have heard the quotes that target is not always meant to be rigid, but at least you have direction where to go. So I'm not saying that I pass every year. I do fail, so I failed many times, but at least I have aimed to myself that okay, I will pass. So I will not stop learning at this moment. And I just keep practicing, keep learning, and I wish I could pass one day. So at least I have objective toward my learning. So, and last but not least, if you want to be a successful learner, like language learner, then you must bring yourself into your like target language environment, including reading books in that language, listen to the songs and try to understand the meaning, watching news or TV series to practice your listening, or find someone to talk to practice your communication, or be there if you can, like maybe work and travel, study, or just travel. Yeah. So don't blame yourself for like your mistakes, and don't be discouraged when you say something wrong and others cannot understand you and you don't understand what they are talking about. It's normal because it's not our native language, right? How did we like know of them at the first place? How can we communicate fluently at first? Of course not. It's just taking some time. So if you have like intention and passion with your goals and objectives that you set at the first place, so just don't leave it behind, don't give up. So keep going. Like no matter it was a fit or a whale, of course, you can see it for sure. And I believe that everyone can do it. Yeah. And yeah, and that's all for my sharing. Like thank you for having me in this session. Like hope this help like or inspire someone who would like to study a new language, like more or less. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much. That was a very inspirational session you just conducted there, Beer, and exactly what you just said. And see, Anamika Tasnim Anan just shared that she's learning German and Spanish all together from Duolingo. I started learning Italian last year. During the pandemic with through Duolingo, but I kept pausing so many times, and the remarks you just shared actually it's going to help me too, because I learned a few words, and then I just like give a long pause, and there's no going back, and after a month maybe I'll go back again. So so the remark you just shared about keep pushing and keep following through and picking up where we left off, constantly pushing through, that was actually very interesting, and that was actually very inspirational as well. Thank you very much. So as usual, the in our regular show setting, you guys know that we have a question answer session at the end of the speech or the class or the workshop that our guests conduct. So today is going to be a little bit different. Today there's not going to be a question answer session. So Beer, is there anything that you want to add, or do you want to like raise a remark or something? Is there anything you want to share more?
Just want to share that if you have passion with languages, just jump into the sea. You will see the fish. Yeah.
I remember when I started wanted to learn Italian was because I wanted to read Dante's Inferno in its original language. Then I realized it's actually written in Latin. Latin and Italian are not that different, which I come to know later on. But I'm so lazy, and you what you just said, and the way you pushed through, and your journey with learning English was actually so inspirational. And I believe I'm not the only one. A lot of people, they just keep pausing and pausing and pausing.
Yeah.
And I hope, and I guess they are going to learn to give it a push through as well. So thank you very much for being here. Koi Apiwan said, thanks for sharing. I will definitely go find the fish in the sea. She
Yeah.
actually referred your that was very sweet and humorous of them. That was very nice. A lot of people are joining the session. And they have been held, and they have listened to what you had to share, and they really took it into a great remark. So thank you very much for being here. And I know that you have been approached by Team Bertho not so long ago. Is there anything you want to comment about Team Bertho's work or anything?
I think that's very good. It's a very inspirational, like to others. Like when you like reach up to me, I feel like, oh, I'm not sure like whether I can do it or not. Even like the a life lesson or this live session as well. So I feel like thankful for like giving me this opportunity to share my experience, share my like favor to others. Like I hope that others will be inspired and like maybe thank you very much.
Thank you very much for being here as well. Thank you very much for giving us the time of your day. And you already have a very interesting life now on, and we hope that you can continue to live more interestingly and do as many as things that you want. And I hope the best wishes for you.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, so this was the session for today, guys. There is we said there is not going to be a question answers session, but it's more not like a question answer. It's more like an interactive session, that interactive question that Mubashira Ishika just asked. That she wanted to know. She wanted to know from you that what are the top languages you suggest to learn.
Suggest to learn, but it's, yeah, as I said, that it depends on your like favorite, your favor, your like objective to study, like which language you prefer, so you go for it. So it's no matter like which language. So just love it and then go for it.
Okay. So Mubashira, you've heard Beer say that if there is any language that you feel inclined to learn, just go for it. There's no top 3 language to learn or to not. Every language, as Beer just shared in her session, is going to be difficult. But if you have the passion to learn something, you go for it, you give it your best, and then there's the rest. So thank you very much, Beer, and thank you very much for the audiences who have been the part of our show from the very beginning to the very last. We hope to catch you in our next episode. Till then, goodbye and ta.